Hey guys, I'm really excited to be here with my son Alejandro, aka Anchor Clanker, on Instagram, to share some information, just some considerations on what you might want to take with you if you jumped in your vehicle and bugged out. But before we go there, Alex was commenting about bugging out, and I think he has a really good observation.
Yeah, so bugging out is, despite what you see on all the Nat Geo shows, it's last resort, right? It's bugging out is worst case scenario, and you're going from point A to point B, and shit hits the fan with your other, options first. So,
right. So why is that last resort? What makes staying home the best choice?
Well, you said at home, right? We know our homes. We know the layouts. We have our supplies, our water, ammunition, food, our family, our network, right? And almost just as important as that is, I know for us, we're surrounded by mountains. We know our landscape in general. We know where the rivers are. We know where we need to go, the closest place to hunt, and so on and so forth. So home is number one option.
That's awesome, and I love that he mentioned, we have a network here in our neighborhood as well. So, look, there's a lot of great information. This is a book written by Jeff Kirkham and Jason Ross. It's the Poor Man's Bug Out and Escape and Evasion. It's an awesome, awesome book. Super simple information. Some of what we're telling you today has come out of this book. So consider picking up a copy of this. It's on Amazon. That said, let's talk about worst case scenario. If we were going to bug out, we're not talking about a pandemic, folks. We're talking about no power, no communication, no water, i.e. massive earthquake, okay? What are some of the things that we need to have with us? Again, we're just giving you a few things. We want to know what you're taking with you that doesn't get mentioned today. So feel free to leave a comment about that. But as we talk about this, one thing that Alex said earlier is he said God has a sense of humor. Explain that to everybody.
Well, I said that because it seems like these natural disasters always like to occur at night or some inconvenient time of the day, right?
Yeah.
Usually not in broad daylight, so.
Exactly. So where does that lead us then?
Well, that leads us without communication and light, so there's two, some of the most important things. And I think first off is communication, which I know for our family, we've all got these radios. Each family, we have some sisters that live around here too. Each family has a couple radios, distinct channels, distinct call signs, so that we're efficient in the airway because there's going to be a lot of traffic probably.
Yeah, a lot of radio traffic for sure.
Natural disaster. So we also have, where to go, that GPS radio, this one right here. It's a Garmin. It's going to cost a little more, but these not as nice radios, you have to have a direct line of sight. These ones, even if we're not able to communicate because of our lack of line of sight, we can see each other on them. So
yeah, they're running off a satellite, so you can literally see on the map on the radio your location, and whoever you're talking to or trying to communicate with, you can see their location relative to you as well. So it is worth it to spend a little more on the Garmin GPS radios if it's in your budget. Okay, radios. You said light.
Yeah.
Why?
Right, because like we were saying, a lot of this stuff happens at night, so it's essential to have flashlights on hand. I think, you were telling me in Afghanistan, before you'd even grab your primary weapon when crap went down, you'd grab your headlamp, right? It was within arm's reach. So it's important to have a headlamp or a flashlight in somewhere where you can grab quick in the event that electricity goes out, and then also have extra light in your kit or in your car.
Yeah. So I have the headlamp. Grab it real quick, throw it on. Now both my hands are available. Like Alex said, I grab a secondary light source and then move forward. So all of these take batteries, so it's important that you have lots of extra batteries. We have hundreds of batteries. We have them in our kits. We have them in the house. We have them all over the place. And we know, we have two types of batteries, AAA and AA, and we know that's pretty much primarily what we're running off of. Speaking of batteries and charging, what else did you say you always throw in your kits?
So what we've done here is we have a few I like G-Shocks. I kind of collect them low key. I have like 7 G-Shocks, and so we threw fresh batteries in all of these very tough, durable watches. They go for, 3 to 5 years on the battery. Whereas in the more popular Apple and Garmin watches, in a scenario of natural disaster, you're not going to be able to charge them most likely.
Right.
So
you need to have a traditional watch that's got fresh functional batteries in it. So that's great. Now remember, we're talking about what we would throw in a kit in the car to take off, right? And so one thing that Alex brought up in a past conversation was when you're bugging out, there are a couple options. Maybe you're bugging out and you have nowhere to go, but for whatever reason you had to leave here. Now you're going to go pitch a tent. Okay, that's fine. A better scenario would be that you actually have a secondary home to go to or a cabin, something like that. Regardless, we're talking about getting from A to B. And along the way, you need to be prepared for even a worst case scenario on your way. One thing that we have in Utah is we have lots of snow. So if you were bugging out in the wintertime, you need to have a set of snowshoes. I would say you should have a set of snowshoes in your vehicle in Utah anyway. If you got stranded and had to trek, you do not want to find yourself in more than 6 inches of snow without snowshoes.
Yeah, you'll deplete your energy real quick and risk hypothermia. So
really, really good thing to have. Binoculars is another great thing to have. Sunglasses. A good knife. This is nothing fancy. It's a good tactical pocket knife. So it has the clip. It can go right here on the side of my pants. I would also say, have a bigger, more sturdy knife that you could use as a tool. I'm not talking about personal defense here. I mean, we've got guns, okay? We're talking about a tool to cut something or skin something. Alex has this really cool knife and hatchet kit. So there are a lot of little things like that you should consider. Always have a lighter.
Yeah, don't forget the lighter.
Lighter and some type of fuel source. So anyway, those are some little things that we're throwing into the packet, or I should say into our box, right? But what else? What else do we need to have that's really important?
Well, there's just a couple more must-haves, I believe, and one of them is a med kit, right? This is something I think you should have even outside of a bug-out kit. It should just be in your car 24/7. You never know what you're going to encounter. So.
Yeah, so this one, this is a trauma kit that I have. It's great. There was a time a while ago when I was a certified EMT, so at least I have an idea how to use the items in this bag. That's not necessary. You could have a smaller first aid kit. A couple things that you need to have are tourniquets for sure, right? This is a traditional tourniquet, and they're pretty good. I'm a converted fan of the Rats tourniquets. I love these things. It's an elastic cord with a loop system. You just make it into a big loop, and you think about it. The guys that came up with this are, I believe, Army Special Forces guys. Let's say they get blown up at night, and so it's dark. They're mangled. It's really hard to manipulate this with one hand. Here, you just make a huge loop. You could slide it over, even a deformed arm or leg. You slide it over, and then you just do it like I'm doing right now. And I'm squeezing, and you can see that my skin's popping through here. I'm applying a lot of pressure there, and then you just hook it and let go. The coolest thing about this is it's elastic, so it is continuing to apply pressure. It's not getting looser. It's the opposite. But more importantly, the reason that I'm a huge fan of these, and I think everyone should have them, we train a lot of school teachers on surviving mass shootings, and this loop here gets small enough to apply on a child, 5 or 6 year old arm or leg, where a traditional tourniquet does not do a good job of that. So anyway, tourniquet is a must-have. Med kit, must-have. What's the other must-have?
So a source of water, whether it's bottled case water or a gallon like so, and then a food source. But remember, this is for a go bag or a bug-out kit, right? Which means point A to point B. This isn't half your food storage or half your water. This is a couple days worth, right? So whether it's a gallon or two and then a few MREs, just be efficient, just be reasonable. So.
MREs are great, guys. If you can get your hands on these, a lot of calories in here. I mean, that's what they're made for. So anyway, great stuff. And then last but not least, it's important to have a way to carry this stuff. So, this is, pretty typical guerrilla box that we used in Afghanistan and Iraq to move our gear around. They're fairly durable. Everything here fits in this box. And then you can close it. I would have it organized though so that you could get into the box in the dark and know where things are. And then have this ready to go. So if you had to bug out, it's a matter of picking it up, throwing it in your vehicle, and rolling. So anyway, if you guys have questions, thoughts, or suggestions, we'd love to hear them. If there's something that we missed, which we know this was only the tip of the iceberg, let us know what you're carrying or what you have in your bug out kit for your vehicle.
And don't forget, bugging out is a last resort, and be prepared to be the solution.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.